Welcome back to Moonlight on Roseville Beach. It has been 3 weeks since you collective group have moved into your bungalow. It's a nice bungalow, guys. It's actually sitting right off of Garland Street. So it's not directly on the beach, but everything at Roseville Beach is within walking distance to the beach. So it's not very far. It's sitting on a row of like residential homes where all the bungalows look like they were built at the exact same time. So they're all in the same exact state of disrepair. This isn't like state of the art by any means. Like I told you before, the year is 1979. And when you're dealing with island culture, everything is usually a decade or two behind anyways. But it's clean. It's safe. You guys have your own individual rooms. Unfortunately, there's just 2 bathrooms for this entire bungalow. So you guys are sharing that however you want to share it. But Annie has been true to your word or true to her word. And she's been super sensitive about your onboarding and making sure that you feel comfortable. She apologizes profusely about the jobs that she retained for you because we're going to talk about that here quickly in a montage. It's the off season, so she can only do so much. But once summer comes back around and spring starts, she'll be able to start making some adjustments for you guys. But here's everything that you're able to compartmentalize very quickly. And here's the one thing about human nature, guys. It's amazing how quickly we adapt and we normalize. Roseville Beach is queer normative. In the outside world, being queer is different. It's other. It's subfacted of society. It's interesting to be in a place where queer is the norm. Queer is what's expected. It's open. And that's a bit of a culture shock. That takes a little bit of intentionality and time for you to actually kind of let your body and your soul acclimate to an environment like that, because there's always that fear, there's always that hesitation, there's always that, is it okay, am I okay? Because we all know villains are villains, and there are villains within this community as well. You have to piece those out, you have to spot those. But you're in a place right now where the Elizas and the Julies of the world can walk down the street holding hands and kissing. They're not, because the weather has been trash for the last 3 weeks and it's escalating significantly. A third of the island right now is flooded. That's an entire situation. It's getting colder. The skies are getting angrier. It's to the point that you go to sleep to the sounds of thunder and you wake up to the sounds of thunder. And the rain has almost just become a background thing. And Rhea, you know for sure that this ocean, it's clawing itself into the beach. Like you were out on your way to work just yesterday, and that lifeguard stand, the water has already crept up past it, and it's going to continue to pull itself in deeper and deeper and deeper until it's satisfied something has upset the ecosystem here. And it's weird because no one is really talking about it. The other thing you have discovered with dealing with Annie, Annie calls herself a soul speaker or soul singer. It kind of switches depending on where she is in any given day. She can be flighty. But for sure, you know 3 things about her. She can create music that feels like it's music that you created. She can tie music into your soul, into your emotions, that feels organic and safe and inspiring all simultaneously. It's just one of those things. She's a delight to be around, and she's well known on the island. The second thing is, she has something that she and at least a couple of her friends are joking about. It's some new phrase going around. It's called gaydar. And she tried to explain it to you guys, but it's effectively she has this ability to seek out queer in other people, like a radar. And she tries to explain this to you. It's like, okay, so you know how like a radar works? I can, and then that's the whole thing. So the gaydar is a thing. But she has something else that no one really has a name for. And it's this ability to see the supernatural in other people, regardless of distance. She can tell you right now if a child was born at 8:03 in the morning over in Germany, if that child is touched in some significant way. She can just dial into it and see it. I almost have it in my head like the Magneto scene where like they can plug in and see where everybody, or not the Magneto, who is it? Professor X, and like can see all the mutants in the world. She has a general ability with that, and what she's been doing, because you guys are going to learn this over the next 3 weeks, she's been cross-sectioning people who are inclined or touched or supernatural in some way, and then the people who are queer, and then trying to get them to Roseville Beach. She's calling people to her, which makes sense because after you really think about it, it's like, did I really see an ad for Roseville Beach, or was I mailed a flyer? Did I get here by my own volition, or did somebody talk to my brother and convince him to send me? Did I really know about this area, or did the waters consistently whisper this to me again and again in my dreams? You can confront Annie about that if you want, but as of right now, aside from the weather, you're integrating well enough into Roseville Beach. Here are my quick questions for you guys before we do these damn montages. Daniel, just as a point of clarification, back on the mainland in Boston, you were a palm reader, correct?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Biza, what did you do occupationally?
I was a student studying photography and political science.
Okay, a student studying photography and political science. And Rhea, have you had a job? Do you work? How's that? You had to, right? In that one relationship, you were working something. You were carrying half of that relationship. What did you do for a living?
I was a lifeguard.
Lifeguard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are the current job assignments that you all have.
These are the jobs that have nothing to do with those.
It is what it is. Daniel, you are set up at the Rose Mart as a stalker and as a clerk at this small time grocery store. This is like one of those grocery stores that's glass all the way around. It has like 6 aisles that like I wouldn't fit down unless I was sideways moving through, and that's where you are. That's where you are right now. You do stocks and you are cashier working at that grocery store. Biza, she has you currently working at the docks with Peter, doing manual lifting and labor, moving cargo to and from. Do it from ships as they arrive.
The worst part of that is Peter.
Actually, Peter's quite nice. We're getting along quite nicely, I think.
To you, sure.
To you. The one thing, and we'll get into this in our little montages, but just to kind of tee you up, Perry, for when I give you narrative. Peter is gay. Peter is also mute.
Oh.
So he doesn't speak at all. He knows American Sign Language. And he keeps like a little spiral notebook in his pocket and a pen that he'll write messages back and forth on. So you'll get into that. Rhea, lifeguarding is not a thing right now. One, no one can swim in these waters. They're warning people away from the waters. But what they have you doing right now is trash pickup from the beach.
Oh man.
So debris, trash, in the pouring rain. Yeah, and it's you've been busier. Okay, peak summertime because people are trash and litter a lot. It's almost as bad as this is right now with nobody here because all the trash from all these homes and tipped over garbage cans and things like so. There's plenty of trash out there. It's not like it's being littered. It's just being blown around. Mm-hmm. So that's what you guys are working with right now. So Daniel, what did I just name this store? The Rose Mart?
Rose Mart, yes.
Yeah, Rose Mart. So you've been working at the Rose Mart. Tell me about the one other employee that works there with you and how you feel every single time you see them steal food.
Oh, stealing food.
They're stealing food to take home, yeah. I don't know if they know that you know. We can figure that out as we go. But tell me about your job and your experience at the Rose Mart. How's that been?
It's been terrible. I'm really bad at it, but I'm kind of trying to be bad at it. However, there's power struggles within the little mart of who gets to be up front and who gets to be backstock. And I'd like to be up front with the people, kind of a people person.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they're saying it takes me, longer than most to ring people through, and that I get lines because I'm talking too much. So I get relegated often. And I'm just trying to prove myself, but I'm also really bad at stalking. I put things in the wrong places frequently. Part of it is just me acting out. I'm not even sure that I know that I'm doing that.
Oh, I like this. Okay.
Jeff,
Jeff.
who gets all the jobs that I want. However, Jeff, I have a lot of respect for Jeff, and I have seen Jeff steal some food. And because I feel wronged by Rosemart and, the corporate overlords of Rosemart, we're in cahoots a little bit, and I feel compassion, in fact. I don't know why Jeff is stealing food, but I know that it's got to be a good reason, because Jeff's a good guy. And so I restock things in the wrong place and they get lost, and so I'm sort of aiding and abetting.
Interesting.
No.
Anyone have any clarifying questions for Daniel?
So, what are the conversations with Mary Alice Greer about her gardenias that she's been stealing from Solomon Hope? I'm sure she's been talking quite a bit when she gets next to you at the register.
Oh, I think that we've become fast friends. We're sort of like now a center of gossip for the entire town. We collect gossip and we trade it like little minor birds. So,
ooh,
yeah. And in fact, we sometimes have lunch to catch up and, make sure that nothing is missed.
Yes, I like this. Rina, any clarifying questions about Daniel's experience?
What is the part of your job that you do like doing?
That's a great question.
That is a really great question.
He's like, fucking nothing.
I am going to say, I'm really just straining to get fired is what's happening. That my favorite part, obviously, is break. But I have started to use the break room as a kind of improvised palm reading place where I'm trying to get my name out there. And so my favorite time is actually, it's really busy. It isn't a break at all. But I make little appointments and then let people in the back, which is it couldn't be more wrong.
Oh, this is good.
But and I've even I put beads up, set people at a little corner where, around the refrigerator, but there's a little alcove back there where you can step into my office, which is just a little folding chair.
That's good. That is good. Okay. I'm gonna jump out of order, and I want to touch base with Rhea. Rhea, how's picking up trash in the rain and the wind? I mean, they really chose the right person for it, right? You're one of the few people that isn't bothered by it, I guess. So how's that going?
Well, I've got actual proper clothes now and shoes, so I don't like that they get soaking wet every day that I'm out there. That's the one thing I dislike, the feeling of clothes sort of sticking to you and having to peel yourself out of them. I really don't enjoy that. But I actually kind of really enjoy the job, even though it's not what I'm used to doing or got used to doing while I was on land, because it's solitude for the most part. It's quiet. It's not out picking up trash when there's a bunch of annoying people around, or bros doing bro things, always chasing after, the quote-unquote hot lifeguard, catcalling and things like that. So it's peaceful. There aren't a lot of people around. I feel like I'm doing something useful, taking the stuff away from the ocean and making sure it doesn't go back into it. And I think it's actually kind of contemplative for me.
I like this. Rhea, over the past, let's say, 10 days or so, you've had a guest with you, near you, around you. No, with you. You know who she is. It's so interesting, too, because she won't shift in front of you. But you know her forms by now. What animal is typically just silently walking with you or around you or near you while you're out here on the beach?
Usually a cat.
It's a cat. What's this cat look like?
This is Calico.
It's a cat. Go cat.
Mm-hmm. with bright green eyes. Doesn't seem to be bothered by the rain, unlike most cats.
Is that the giveaway, by the way? Is it that she
That's the
also
giveaway.
has bright green eyes? It's the same eyes? What's her name?
Her name is Theodora.
Where on the island did you meet Theodora?
I think further down the beach, like further away from the actual town.
Mhm.
She got closer to me the further we went away, which is when I really started to notice that she was there. There's fewer prying eyes.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. You know, Theodora hasn't articulated this, but you know that Theodora is sweet on you. Is that reciprocated? Do you feel the same?
I think I feel a little bit of something, but I'm very cautious about it and very wary of it. I feel kind of uncomfortable with the fact that I feel like I have a little bit of a crush.
That's fair. You haven't been in love since him, have you?
And he was so recent.
Yeah. No, that's tough. That's tough. Last question for you here, and then I'm going to let the table ask some clarifying questions. You know that Theodora is like you, but not like you. She was introduced to you by Annie, so you know that Annie has a certain bead on a certain temperature of some of the occupants of Roseville Beach. How do you feel when Theodora is on the beach with you, just trotting along, soaking wet, just saturated calico cat, but she's out there in the rain with you, not speaking or engaging with you, just there? How do you feel when she's there? And then how do you feel on the days when you don't see her?
When she's there, I enjoy the feeling of companionship without the pressure to actually say anything, to do anything, just existing. And existing together in the same space without anyone needing anything from the other. I think it's a really comforting experience, and it's not one I'm very used to up on land.
Yeah.
And when she's not there, I feel like something's missing. I've gotten so used to, over the last few days, her being there, that on a day when she's not, I find myself picking up, a beer bottle and then looking up to see where she is, and then realizing she didn't come out today, and feeling a little bit deflated.
That was so stunning. Beautiful. Clarifying questions for Rhea and their day job.
What do you perceive as a constant threat to that solitude or the aloneness and quietness that you have with Theodora?
There's a couple, one of those annoying fit couples who always go out running or walking or exercising no matter what the weather is. They are going to be out exercising, and they're really nice, I suppose, but they're constantly coming down a long ocean, and they try to wave and they talk, and when they wave, I do the kind of half wave of yes, hello, but I'm working. But they keep trying to stop to talk, and it's very hard to make them go away or keep going, because it's like, I don't want to talk to you. But they don't pick up on those cues.
Perry, any clarifying questions?
Yeah. So when it's time for your break, where do you go to sort of have your lunch and take a break from your job?
So I imagine there's a cafe in town. One of those touristy ones where you can look out at the beach and the water when you're sitting on the deck out front. But of course, nobody's sitting out there. If there's people inside, too many people, and I feel crowded, then I will go and I will sit out on the porch. It's got an overhang, but it's not completely protected. But I will sit out there and I will have my sandwich and my latte and just be in that space whenever I go for my lunch. And sometimes Theodora will sit on the edge of the little barrier around the porch. Just sit there. And we'll just have companionable silence. Sometimes I'll sit inside when I want to be around people. But it depends on how crowded it is. I get overwhelmed very easily.
Yeah. Well done. Beezum, manual labor was definitely for sure not what you had on your bingo card of let's do things. But you know what? Working with Peter has some benefits. The long eyelashes are one of them. The faces that he makes are one of them. He does do this super cute thing, like when he smiles, but he's too shy or ashamed to smile, his nose wrinkles, and it kind of like pulls at his entire face, and he skimmers away. But it's mostly quiet work with him. He enjoys music. There's a little small TV there. It's been an interesting few weeks, lifting crates and cargo and wheeling things back and forth into the rain. It's antagonistic in a way because half of your job is indoors and the other half is outside. And so it's like you can never actually stay fully dry, and the transition is absolutely terrible going back and forth. Tell me about your days working at this warehouse. And I will tee up one other thing of flavor text. Shipments are getting really slow coming into the island. A lot of captains aren't willing to brave the waters because the weather is getting so fierce. So you can notice a steady decline on imports coming into the island, which directly affects Rosemark because you start noticing that things aren't being able to hold the shelves as long as they usually do because they're being sold and they're not being restocked. And that's something that even you, Rhea, can experience, like where you're in restaurants or coffee shops, and those moments when you do feel like being around people and you're listening to like the peripheral conversations happening around you, where like, you know, the coffee shop's owner is like, I haven't had coffee in the last 2 weeks. This is the best that we have right now. I can't make a cappuccino, or I can't make this, or we're out of, you know, so you're hearing those type of things happening around you. So Perry, tell me what it's like working the docks.
Well, at first it was about trying, and has become me learning sign language to communicate with Peter, which has been a delight as it's improving the conversations, and his thoughts on the $6 billion man have been quite interesting as we've been discussing that when we've been sitting watching the TV. I mean, the manual labor is actually quite nice, and surprisingly quite nice, because I think I've gotten more of the chest that I have been longing for, as well as getting the shoulders in as that from the lift. But it's like, by the end of the day, I'm dead tired, definitely. It's gotten easier now in this third week. It is annoying going out in the rain, but I am not getting splashed and risking being pulled out into the ocean as I did when I was coming up over on the ship. So even though it's cold, it's not the same bone-chilling, soaked literally down as I did when I got here.
Yep.
Fair. But it is concerning in seeing this, and it does lead to those longer times where we could find ourselves sitting there watching TV and having our conversations tete-a-tete back. I've also noticed that ever so often when I mention Daniel as one of my roommates, Peter does go quiet.
Yeah, there's a chill that comes over him. He suddenly can't make eye contact, or he very quickly attempts to change the subject, or he remembers that there's something that he needed to do elsewhere from this conversation. Something about Daniel makes him uncomfortable.
I can understand that. I haven't exactly been back to Tops much myself, even though that was the first. That was the fact that Howling is the movie Howling is real.
Real, yeah.
And no amount of movie magic is going to be the same as actual magic.
No, that's a thought that lingers.
But even then, there's still the lingering thought of like, okay, if they're saying I'm supernatural, what type of supernatural am I? Is still also percolating in the back of my mind in those times when I am lifting crates and moving things back and forth in the rain.
I like it. Clarifying questions for Biza.
How did you feel the one day that Peter called in sick and you had to work on your own?
Oh.
It was exhausting, especially because Peter was so much more used to everything, especially where everything went. I think I got enough of the idea. It was the next day he showed up. was spent actually reorganizing back closer to what the system he had, because he was most used to it. But it was also one of those points where I did have a lot more time now to contemplate this unusual questions and thoughts about what looks like being here as opposed to be back in LA. Missing home, thinking about my family, thinking about Paco, and how Karen is probably not getting her hands on him.
Oh, Karen. How about you, Chad? Any clarifying questions for Biza?
Yes, I would like to know.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I would like to know what it was that Peter says or does that makes you feel uncomfortable or concerned.
Oh.
About when conversations with Daniel, or just in general?
In general.
I like in general, yeah.
Absolutely, in general.
What's concerning about Peter? Or Peter?
Something he said or has done.
It's more about the silence that comes up when I happen to mention not just Daniel, but other people I have met just in passing on the island. I happen to talk about Tops and Henry without mentioning what he was, and there was another moment where Peter went silent and quiet about that, which makes me wonder about, okay, he's clearly queer and we can talk about all of that, but how aware is he of the other stuff? Even more so when I happen to mention Annie to him. Is she another one of those where he goes quiet and he's just also is there an aspect he's just tolerating me because he knows that, or is there something more that he knows that he's not really to relay?
To share with you, yeah. No, he goes still with Annie too. It's the same thing. Like, the coffee needs to be redone, or the radio needs to be changed, or the door just flew open. Let's go secure that again. Yeah. Okay. So you guys can kind of imagine that, over the last 3 weeks, this has been your experience onboarding into your job, building relationships with the people around you, looking after each other. Rapid fire around the room really fast. We're going to start with Biza. We're going to drop down to Rhea, and then we're going to go over to Daniel. What type of roommate are you? Are you the messy roommate? Are you the roommate that sings in the morning and dances? Are you the roommate that is constantly picking up shoes? Are you the roommate that cooks for everybody? Like, I just want to know, living the three of you guys, what roommate are you? Who are you?
I'm going to say I'm the one who cooks for everybody.
You're the cook.
Oh,
okay. You're the
that.
cook. I love that. Okay. How about you, Rhea? What roommate are you?
I'm the meticulous one, where everything has a place and it should be in its place, and I leave little passive-aggressive notes when things are not in its place.
Shoes belong in closet.
There is a space in the closet for these, on a little note stuck to Biza's shoes or whatever.
I had one of those in college. Yo, I hated her so much. So good, Rita. That was delicious. Daniel, how about you? What roommate are you?
You know what's so funny is I was queuing that exact note giver, the note leaver, the sticky notes. However, what I want to be now is the one who gets most of the notes, like leaving shoes, in the wrong place.
Yep.
I mean, I'm a bad stalker, right? So I'm a bad, right? So
Yep.
At home too, nothing is in its place.
Nothing is in its
Never.
proper place ever.
Yeah. The soap, I'll just carry the soap out of the bathroom and just set it down on a shelf somewhere, not even thinking.
Oh,
Yeah, like
God.
that.
Yeah, you're that guy. Oh, you're that roommate.
You left your utensils on the counter, and that you came back to find them pointed in the direction of the drawer with a little note and an arrow pointing along with them.
It's right there.
That was a choice. You were so close. Oh God.
I'm also gonna leave like love notes in response, like, little love bombs in place of the forks and knives. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so good. That is delicious. Okay. Tell me very quickly, Biza, what you cooked for dinner tonight. Keeping in mind that seafood is not a problem for you, but any other meat that should be coming in from the mainland, you're not getting a whole lot of right now. That's a constant complaint. that your red meat is slowing down, things of that nature. But what's for dinner tonight? Annie is going to be stopping by. She left a note on your door saying that she was going to be stopping by tonight, that she had an opportunity for the three of you. And she wanted to come by and do dinner because apparently word on the street is that Biza can cook really well. She wants food. She likes to eat. Everyone loves to eat.
Okay, so what we're probably having is a creamy Alfredo sauce done with Atlantic cod.
Ooh.
Ooh, me. Oh, the whole table went. Oh, is it dinner? What is happening? Why are we still on this call? That is amazing. One thing that you do know, Daniel, eggs are becoming a real problem on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get eggs is a whole situation. It's just as an add-on right now. But okay, so you guys are having Alfredo with cod, fresh out of the ocean. And Annie is there with you, and it is a upbeat, fun dinner. There's just something about the soul singing, whatever it is, you always feel seen and wanted in her presence. And it's not even something she's intentionally doing. It's just something that radiates off of her and like just grabs into you and brings you into like this hug that is her personality. And on her way through her second plate, for her to be a little tiny something, that this little blade can put away some food, honey. She don't be playing around. She's on her way through her second plate. She's already divided her cod, and she goes, okay, I have an opportunity for you guys. It's a little strange, but it comes with a big payout.
A new job, you say? I'm listening. I'm here. I'm here for you.
You want me to work again?
It worked out last time, didn't it?
Oh, God. She looks to you and she says, it'll be better in the summer. It's just really hard right now with the weather and the rain. It's the off season, Daniel.
There's a bookstore here. You could have put me there,
No, yeah, but Michael isn't hiring. And Michael has some problems too. Really big problems.
Oh?
And she kind of rolls her eyes. The one thing you do notice, and you guys have noticed about Annie doesn't like to gossip. Where like you get all the good shit from Mary Alice, Annie is like, I'll point out the other soup queers, but that's about the extent of the knowledge I really want to extend from person to person. She compartmentalize this really well. So she rolls her eyes, just like, Michael has some problems. I don't think it's a good fit.
Okay.
About this opportunity, breaking the awkward tension.
Yeah.
Someone does it. Yes. She looks to you as a smile spreads across her face, and she says, you've passed the sea. And she pauses, and you guys know she's trying to say sea turtle sweets, but that is just a stretch of her afternoon right now to actually get that phrase out. The sea turtle sweets, and you guys know, you guys have passed this. It's on hold on, I can tell you where it's on Stonewall, very close to the beach. It's probably the closest residential establishments towards the beach. It is a 3-story, which is one of the tallest buildings on Roseville Beach. I think the tallest might be a 7-story hotel, but this is a 3-story hotel that it looks like over, I don't know, the last year or so, or maybe even more recently, they converted into like little studio apartments. So now it's all like actual, like, long-term residential housing. You guys have passed it before. It is it's aged and it's dated, and there's lots of lavender and eggshell blue and lots of really worn, gorgeous sea turtle motifs and iconography all over it. And yeah, it looks well enough. You know that it's understaffed. You also know that there aren't a whole lot of tenants living there. But for the most part, you haven't had any reason to go in. You haven't had any really reason to deal with it. And she says, I have a friend that owns it. Their name is Phoenix Mounts, and you guys have heard that name around town. And I'll tell you more about that why. Phoenix Mounts, they go by Fifi. So Fifi is what you would call them, And what she goes on to explain is that the tenants of the Sea Turtle Suites have been complaining of strange occurrences happening inside of the hotel. She explains to you that Phoenix Mouse, Fifi, recently inherited the hotel, converted it into an apartment building. It's basically what he's done now. After his parents died. The tenants are complaining about strange occurrences that range from TVs and radios changing their dials suddenly to stations that don't make any sense with scratching and screaming. There's a couple tenants that are complaining that they can hear scratching and screaming from behind their walls at night. She says that there's something going on with the building that makes it feel sentient. She can't quite explain it, but when she looks to you, Rhea, like her eyebrows pull and she's trying to figure out a way to articulate, she says, the building itself has a song. Not just the people, the building.
Are you asking us to go ghost hunting?
I don't know. It could be a ghost. It's let me start with the payout. If you're able to remedy whatever is happening at the place. Thank you. Fifi is willing to cover 6 months of your rent here at the bungalow.
Whoa.
That's 6 months. Rent free.
You have my attention. And my interest.
Good. Will you come tomorrow morning?
I will.
Well, given that these shipments are coming in fewer and fewer, I think Peter would be all right if I don't show up for that shift, assuming someone can send him a message. And you forgive me for asking, and I know you've been very careful about information. I've noticed that. But is there a particular reason he becomes uncomfortable with most people that have this song?
She's looking down at her plate, and you can see her appetite just slowly tick down. And she looks up to you. She just shakes her head no. And she's not answering no to your question. She's declining to respond to it at all.
Oh, Annie.
We'll just need to send him a note that I won't be here.
I can get word to Peter. Daniel.
Oh, if there's anything that you want to get off your chest, we are also capable of keeping secrets.
She looks at you and makes an open, you on some bullshit face. I mean, she looks at you and just goes like, that's what you're going to feed me today? And she immediately goes, how is Mary Alice?
We get along well. It's I very much enjoy our conversations. I would never disclose something like that. If you need to get something off your chest, like we can help you with that. You might lift your burden.
My burdens are mine to carry, Daniel. But I appreciate the offer. Okay. Tomorrow at the place?
At the place.
Okay. I see you then. This was very, very good, Bezo. This was really, really good.
Oh, there's jam cookies for the road.
Oh!
Well, there's two types. There's jam cookies, and then there's also fruit cookies as well. I mean, they don't require eggs, so those are quite easy to make.
She's moving in. Listen. Oh, Jesus. My dinner did not slap tonight. Me, wow. So, let's talk about a few things that you guys know about Fifi. And I will say each of you three have had a secondary or a tertiary connection with Fifi. Fifi goes by they them. He is an African American who is well put together, well manicured. Um, Really, they look like a city kid, like just plucked off of New York and like off of Wall Street and dropped here. Like they constantly look out of place here. They constantly look like they're trying to integrate into a world that doesn't really belong to them. But that's mostly their aesthetics that is happening when this is going on. But Rhea, multiple times you have seen Fifi standing a few yards away from where the waters are crawling itself up through the sand and thrashing and biting, and crying as they looked out over the water. That is something that you've seen a couple of times. There was one occasion where as you were walking by picking up trash, Fifi seemed like they were just connected with the water. Tears were running down their cheeks, and Theodora actually broke off from your walking path and just went and just sat next to them. Never made physical contact, just sat next to them. With you, Daniel, Fifi came in at some point to just pick up something very quick. And they were polite, they were kind, but they didn't have a whole lot of conversation for you. They didn't give you the idea that they were in a rush as much as they were distracted with something. And Mary Alice couldn't wait to lean in on this one. And she goes in with a tale that 6 months ago, his little sister by the name of Razabelle Mounds, one of the very few children that has ever been on Roseville Beach that she ever remembers, was taken by the sea, is the specific word choice that Mary Alice is using. She was taken by the sea. It's a big tragedy. Apparently, they were out, and Raz loves to swim and was really good with water, but just something happened and Raz was taken by the water. She was taken in and under. She was never seen from again. And Mary Alice is, telling you about how that really broke Fifi, that they haven't been the same since. They cut off, any of their relationships. They began self-isolating, and things have just been really hard for Fifi since Raz died. Coming in from the pier over here, Biza, you have not seen or interacted with Fifi directly other than like them coming in to sign off on maybe some forms for deliveries that are coming directly to the hotel. But you do notice that one, Peter doesn't have any issues interacting with Fifi at all. They seem friendly. They're able to communicate. Fifi doesn't speak a lot of sign language, but they're very patient and will do notes and things of that nature. You've noticed that the orders going to the sea turtle or the sea turtle suites has changed in the last, I don't know. If you're going through the order history, I won't make you roll or anything, but if you're just curious and you were parsing through, the orders have changed in the last maybe 3 or 4 months. A lot of construction material is being brought in. And a lot of toys are being brought in. An exorbitant amount of toys. Boxes of toys and games and children-focused activities. Rena, what does the Sea Turtle Suites look like upon arrival when you guys get there on this rainy, dreary, trash-ass Tuesday morning?
So there's a white picket fence that runs around the whole suites area, and the suites themselves are these low kind of bungalow style with 2 to a building. And there's a pool in the center, which why would you have a swimming pool when you're right there next to the ocean? But that's what people do, so there is a swimming pool. Yeah. And all of the bungalows would have flowers out in front, but the flowers are looking very bedraggled. The few of them that remain, they're all kind of slumped over and not very perky anymore. And the roofs are painted green, this kind of nice, cheerful, almost like a forest green, not a neon green, but it makes it feel very homey.
I like that. I like that. Okay. You guys step into what has to be like the lobby area that's been, makeshift, and there's an empty desk and a few chairs, and you do notice that they have a television, mounted on the wall, and we're just talking about like one of those box televisions that like, is like held up by more brackets than it needs on a wooden plank. And the television is on, and there's just static ripping across the screen. Static. There's no voices coming through it. You can't even see any motions or movement behind the static. Like it might be a news program it's just full static television. And you guys step in and there's no one there. Annie is running late apparently, which Annie usually doesn't run late, but Annie's not there yet. What do you guys do? You get there and you're basically in an empty lobby.
Have a look around the lobby and see if there's any pamphlets, any local, touristy booklets, things like that. See what adorns this lobby in the way of printed materials.
Okay. You are going through, and every hotel lobby or every apartment lobby, especially on a beach town, has like the standing kiosk that has all the places where you can rent a kayak or you can take scuba diving classes, or and all the brochures are like worn for last season as you're coming into the off season. But you're thumbing through there, and Atlas. There's other towns apparently. You guys know this on Rose Island. The rich queers are in a town like 10 miles, not 10 miles, like 2 or 3 miles outside of this town. There's another town that's a situation that apparently we're just not addressing. But you're kind of flipping through things, and the television crackles on and comes to life. And what I need from you, Rhea, is to tell me, please, what was the television program that David Butler loved to listen to after he got off of work and was cracking open a beer? And it was in a stark contrast between the enjoyment that he had for this television program and the hostility and the abuse that would typically come by the time he finished that beer.
So he really enjoyed one of those Bonanza-style westerns. So you'd have the family together on the ranch and occasionally solving a mystery or dealing with cattle rustlers or whatever, and always have a nice happy ending tied up with a bow at the end of it after a shootout or tracking down the cattle rustlers, and lots of romantic scenes between the handsome young men of the ranch and whatever attractive young women happen to be passing through town on a stagecoach, that kind of thing. And that was his favorite show, and he watched it every night.
That's what clicks onto the television around you, and it feels too real. It feels too sudden. And then you hear David's voice just embodying the air that is clinging to the room, and he yells at you, "You stupid bitch, where's my..." And you can feel the hackles rise. You can feel your nervous system activating because you know what's coming next. You know what's coming next. It's the same thing that always comes next. And you whip around to the television, and you whip around to where you can feel his voice just hanging on your flesh. And then you're standing face to face with Cassie. Time almost seems to stop. And you're standing face to face with Cassie. Cassie is at your shoulder length, and her tendrils are twisting and writhing, and the cap on her head is dodging. And even though she doesn't have eyes, you can tell that she is looking at you, and she's trying to ground you, and her tendrils curl up and around your shoulders, and she looks at you and she says, "Help her. Please help her."
Cassie? David? What's going on? And saying this out loud. What's... No. And just kind of pushing away.
Rhea, are you okay? What's happening?
Just sort of pulling away, like physically almost shrinking a bit. And I'm 5'10", like pretty tall, just sort of shrinking, making myself shorter, as small as possible, almost back up against the desk of the lobby. You heard it? You heard it right? From the TV, you heard it. Please tell me you heard it.
Did I hear it?
You saw like one of those old campy like Western TV shows like populated on television really fast, and then the static came in and took it back out. But you're not experiencing whatever is in front of Rhea at this moment.
You see, I'm kind of pushing away at something, like something's physically there, like pushing at my shoulders and just in gestures of get away from me.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving space. I'm also looking at the TV, and do you mean the television? Somebody turn this television off?
I heard him.
Oh.
I heard him.
I'll reach over and see if I can turn off the TV.
It's one of those TVs that's up high. They have like one of the footstools where you can easily jump up on it. So you climb up on the footstool.
If not, I'll look for the power plug.
Oh, yeah, which is also up fucking high, of course. But no, you hop onto the footstool, and you can either turn the dial to turn it off, and you can even pull the power cord if you want, and you click off, and when the TV goes off, Rhea, you notice that Cassie just like dissipates into this almost like fluorescent burst of light. She poofs, she dissipates, and the colors iridescently just kind of like slowly float to the floor, and there's this echo in the back of your mind. You never could prepare his eggs quite right. What did you always do to mess up David's eggs?
Pepper in them. I like things spicier, and I'd always forget that he didn't. And he hated it. He complained and complained and complained, and I still couldn't get it right. No matter how many times he told me he hated it, I couldn't get it right.
You just have a brief echo of the pepper and the eggs, and that one night you were out with your family, and it was your birthday, and the gift he gave you was a pepper shaker, and that was it. Because that's who he is at his core. And about that time, Annie walks in, chipper and happy, as always, and she goes, "Good morning, good morning."
Morning, Annie.
What happened? What happened?
Just TV, bad memories. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
Her head tilts, and she is very close to looking at the other two gentlemen for affirmation, almost to do that. Are they actually okay? And you notice that she fights not to do that, and she stays directly with you, because what you say in this moment is what matters. Okay. I'm going to go find Fifi. He has to be around here. Sorry, they have to be around here somewhere. Well, I'll be back. You guys maybe stay here.
Okay.
And Annie will wander behind the counter, peek into an office. You can see her head scan around, gets an inquisitive look, and then she kind of picks up like a ring of keys, because this is the 70s, who actually has like keys locked up in storage and on a beach town. And she is going to head off, and she just kind of gives you guys a polite, awkward hand wave as she disappears around a corner. And the three of you are back in the lobby.
So after turning off the TV, I'm going over either to the wall or to the desk itself to look at the map of the hotel itself. What is where, what is arranged where, just to get a sense of where to move around the place in.
No, I love it. That's absolutely able. So there's obviously a basement, because of course it has a basement area, but that's mostly plumbing, the boiler room, the furnace is sitting down there. You have this main level here, that is the lobby, and then there are 4 apartments, suites, on this level, and then there are 2 more levels above it that each host about 8 apartments piece, and then there's a roof with a roof access, and then you've got like the white picket fence. It's a pretty intimate hotel, which would make sense for island culture in the 70s. So you're looking at 3 stories with a roof and a basement.
And I will call out to the others. Is like, did Andy say which apartments were hearing the sounds and which ones were actually hearing the screaming?
I don't think she
If you
did.
recall.
No, I don't think we got a location. We could take a walk around.
We can definitely do that.
Annie is looking for Fifi now
Yeah,
so that we
so-
can talk to Fifi about the assignment.
Correct. So right now you're left alone again in the Sea Turtle Suites.
Okay.
Give it a second try now.
Annie has the keys.
I know, right? It's okay. I'm willing to wait for you every single moment of everything. It's not Symphony. It's not something that's broken. So like, fuck it. At this point, it's like whatever. We're doing what we normally do.
Is there any sign on the map that could indicate where the new construction was?
Oh, this is a great question for you. No, there's nothing that would indicate any type of new construction on this map at all. What is Fifi building? What are they up to?
And where is he building it?
Where?
They.
Yep. I had correct me on it too, by the way, because I keep forgetting it. Wow, I slipped into Annie. Sorry. Yes, they. Fifi's and they them. Yep. Yeah. What are they doing? And where are they doing it? I don't know. We can figure it out.
I think I might want to go around the back of the office into the papers and whatnot and
Okay.
look, just be really obviously nosy.
You're going to be that person?
Yes.
I am proud of you. Let's be that person today. This is good. So you're going to go into Fifi's office and actually start going through the filing cabinets and looking at
100%.
stuff?
Yep.
Oh, this is great. All right, so you step behind the front desk area and you head into a very cramped, small office that feels like even more cramped by the size of these filing cabinets that are just like almost pushing into the room. There's a desk stuffed into the corner that you're just like, you would have to like shimmy around to get into. But excuse me, but yeah, no, you can start digging through files right now. I will say this much. Looking at the filing system and the state of the desk, this may be a cramped room, but whoever is keeping the paperwork is doing a damn good job of it. It is well organized, meticulous. When manila folders start deteriorating a little bit, it looks like those are being replaced on a regular day basis. Not a regular day basis, but a regular basis before they deteriorate too much. But yeah, you are able to start going through everything. What are you looking for in particular?
Well, I'm looking for notes. I'm looking for names. I'm looking for any reports. I guess maybe if there's a call log, that would be nice.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so no call logs. You're able to look at some of the accounting. It doesn't look like they have any new tenants that have moved in the last 3 or 4 months.
Oh, wow.
The
The whole season.
the whole season.
Off season, yeah.
Yeah, no one is moving. And this September right now, they should
Oh, 3 or 4 months. So they missed the entire summer?
entire summer.
That's
Yeah,
a big deal.
the
Yeah.
entire summer. No new tenants have moved in at all. That this is residential housing. It's close to the beach. It's a beautiful location, but you're not seeing any new tenants. The tenants that are here look like long-term tenants that have been here, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years into the same things. There's only one new set that you see, and it's right at the 3-month mark. It is the Rosin family, and it looks like it was signed to a Eliza Rosin and then a Julia Simpson.
Those are the newest.
Those are the newest, and that was still 3 months ago. But
Wow.
by looking at the leases, you can tell which of the apartments here are occupied and which are not.
Great. I will make a mental note of those.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, does it look like they're? I mean, I can take a little peek at books. Are they about to bankrupt or what?
Yeah, you're thumbing through the accounting. Daniel Fifi is in the red, And I do mean the red. The rent that's coming in is not covering the mortgage and the expenses. And they're also double tapping their expenses. And you're seeing a lot of outsourcing for toys, recreational activities, and things of that nature, and building supplies. Even without those extra expenditures, they're already still in the red. This business is not doing well at all. It's not passing any health checks that you can see.
And yet they're spending money on these toys and weird extras.
They're spending money on toys and weird extras. Yeah. Yeah. Your foot, the left side of your foot taps something underneath the desk, and you look down. Mind, this is a tight desk. You're already stapled against the wall, and you realize it's like a little handheld radio. And your foot accidentally taps it, and by the time you look down and acknowledge what it is you hit, the dial has turned, and you hear static coming in on the radio.
Oh. Is it loud?
It's enough where just you can hear it if you're the only person in this room. Yeah.
Yeah. I jump back a little bit.
You jump back. You slam into the wall directly behind you.
Yes. I knock something over.
You knock something, knocks over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would be great to knock over? A family photo of what looks like Fifi and a super happy, smiling little black girl with curly hair.
God. Yes.
That looks like it was taken on this beach. It knocks over, the frame cracks, and the glass shatters onto the ground.
Okay. I will immediately try to clean that up and at least make the picture more, presentable, maybe without the glass since I can't replace that, but okay. So it's not on the floor.
You reach down and you're starting to pick up those shards when you hear a voice dancing between the lines of static on this radio. Give me 3 words of power that Jane Walcott used to use to punish those in the coven who disappointed her.
Searing.
Power word of searing.
Suffocate.
Searing. Suffocate.
Flowers.
What did you do? What did you and one of the other members of your coven do the last time you remember Jane Walcott activating searing, suffering, and flowers? What were you being punished for?
I had taken a tome from... We had a coven meeting in her living room, and I had taken something that I just wanted to borrow but didn't get a chance to ask for. I would have. But that was discovered, and I was ratted out because I was talking about what amazing bits of history and magic were in that book, and one of my other coven members ratted me out.
Tell me about the pain that you felt from suffocating.
It was like drowning in fire. I could feel the searing and like drowning in my own lung fluids. Burned from the inside. I could still feel it. If I think about it.
You don't have to think about it long because you can feel it now. You can feel that flame and that searing sensation in your lungs, that fire drowning sensation as you're unable to breathe. And as you looked into her eyes and you realized that woman will kill me one day. That she won't feel bad about it. She won't lose an inch of sleep. She's just going to find someone else to replace me. I might die right now. And it's at that point while you're at the desk, or actually you're kind of kneeled over because you're picking up glass and you've got the photo in one hand and you're getting ready to start clawing at your chest to see if you can alleviate any of the burn, when just coming down from your field of view, you see a black spider on a single thread. Its back is to you, but you recognize, Boris. You've seen Boris. And Boris quickly, skitters and spins around where Boris is facing you. And I'm just curious, is Boris the size of a regular spider or like a
Yeah, like a big regular spider. So,
like this is a big regular spider to you? I'm never moving to New York. That's the banana spiders in fucking Florida that I had to deal with. So Boris comes down and Boris looks to you, and through chittering of those mandibles, you can hear him saying, "Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe."
I fighting coughing as well. You can give yourself a coughing fit, coughing enough.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, yes, you sure can. And I'm about to, because I tried a wheeze sound effect. So I'm trying to catch my breath, breathing slowly.
And he looks to you and he says, "Good job. I need you to help her. She doesn't belong here. She needs to go home."
Who?
And something cuts the web, the single thread that Boris is on, and he falls fast into the desk and just poof, disappears into almost like a puff of black and white light, and then he's gone.
Whoa. She, he said. Help her go home, he said. I look at the photo.
This is the happiest child you have ever seen in your life. You don't know if, this is Ras. You can see the family resemblance between her and their sibling, Fifi. And they're just happy and delighted. And, they're holding her up and she's just smiles. It's one of those smiles you look at this child. It's like, have you ever had a bad day in your life? Or is every moment the best moment ever?
Feels like there was a bad day.
Daniel. Not Daniel. Sorry.
Bizet.
Yeah. The snoring husky next door. God bless all of us. Bizet, what are you up to right now?
Well, after studying the map and so forth, I'll go to the window and just sort of look out at the structures to see, especially in this rain and everything, and where could the new construction be at. And it's like, with the materials that I know that ordered, it's not going to be in the exterior. It's got to be interior.
It is 100% interior build, for sure. It's an interior build, absolutely.
But if these are all the places people can see, and I can see it based off this map, it have to be someplace people aren't seeing, especially with the materials. So, because drywall is not going to do well out there.
No, it can't.
So, I'll go back and look at the map and look for the nearest entrance to the basement.
That's a great call. Yeah, the nearest entrance to the basement is actually just down this hall. And there's a secure door right there. It'll lead you straight down.
I'll go look at that door.
Okay.
Does it need a key that Annie walked off with?
Okay. You move out of the lobby area, and remember there are 4 apartments on this half. So if you're looking at like a box hotel, it's 3 stories with 8 apartments, and you've got the 4 on each side. The lobby half, they've gutted 4 of the apartments at. So there's still 4 apartments on this level here, 2 doors on each side. So you're moving down the hall, and the door to your left and your right, suite 1 and 2, the doors are closed. You pass suite 3 on your left, and on your right, you notice that suite 4, the door is wide open, completely wide open. And you pass it in your peripheral vision. You can't help to look because it's an odd sight. But standing in the middle of this like studio apartment. You can see the edge of a bed, the feet of it, one of the 70s, footboards. There's another television placed here on a rack, and there's a old school chair that has like the yellow and green flowers on it that's been worn to hell. There are family photos on the wall, and you're just like, oh, this is one of them tenants that everything is super aged and dated. This is one of them tenants. You're like, oh, you one of the ones that's been here 20 years, and they've done nothing to upkeep this apartment. But you notice that the tenant, it has to be the tenant, right? You hope it's the tenant. It's an older woman that is just standing there in a muumuu with her wrists at her hips, staring at the TV with like this glossy, dazed out, almost blissed out look. And she's just standing there staring at the television. It's just one of those things when you walk by, it just startles you. It's like, what the fuck is that? The TV is all static.
Hello?
No response.
Ma'am? Are you okay?
No response. And I mean, not even a tilt of her head or a look over her shoulder. If she weren't standing, you would actually ask yourself, is she alive?
Rhea!
Mhm.
Hey,
Yes.
there's a lady here. I think it might be better if you checked on her. I
Okay.
mean, just in case there are those feminine needs I can't exactly help with.
Feminine. What? Okay.
What's happening today?
I'm very confused by this particular phrasing. But I will head back there to see what Biza's calling
I'll just
about.
point.
Hello? I'll slowly go in and put a hand on her shoulder to see if it startles her out of it.
It
I'll stay there at the
absolutely
door.
Does. You was like, I'm gonna stay back here. You go do that. You go handle that soup. Yes, all you. Yeah. Oh my God, it completely startles her. Her shoulder jumps and she turns and she looks at you and her eyes are completely milked out. And she goes, "Hi, darling. Would you like some tea?"
I'm okay, thanks. Just are you all right? You were just sort of in a daze. It looked like we were worried about you.
I'm fine. I saw the strangest thing. It was so beautiful. It's a jellyfish. It just floated right on by. It came out of that wall. And then, darling, it went through that wall. I've been seeing some of the most beautiful creatures lately.
You saw a jellyfish?
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a jellyfish fly before. My Madeline used to love jellyfish. She died. She died maybe 10 years ago now. We were so happy. Would you like some tea?
No, thank you. I'm all right. But are you sure you're okay? Do you need any help or?
No, I'm fine. You should find you a pretty Madeline. You know this place is safe for people like us. It wasn't like that when I was back in Tennessee. Things are different here on Roseville Beach. Did you want some tea?
Sure. Let's have some tea.
And she smiles, and again, her eyes are just completely milked out. I mean, they're just completely clouded with almost like this mucusy, moving, white, cloudy, clear fluid. But she goes to work and she starts making you tea. Would your friend like to come in? Would they like some tea?
Oh, Biza, we're having some tea.
Okay.
And
I'll be there shortly. I'm going to check one thing.
Yeah, how to get the hell out of this hotel.
Where are the
I will
exits?
continue. I will continue on my path to the basement door.
Yeah, you get to the door, and it's one of those doors that is flush with the wall. Like, you know, those metal service walls that are, or doors that are just flush with the wall. There's no handle. You have to have the key, and then whatever reason they thought it was okay to have the key pull it out. It's one of those type situations. And it has like maintenance on the door, and directly beneath it, it has basement.
I will just sort of press against it, see if it's loose or not, if it's actually locked.
Yeah, that one's secure. It's in there. You'll need a key. Or
Okay.
maybe you could. Do you have lock picking? Is that a skill that you guys learned in that place that you were in? Is that a thing?
I'll look around and reach into my back pocket and pull out a screwdriver.
You reach into your back pocket, you pull out a screwdriver, and I'm assuming you're going to go ahead and go to work.
Yeah, I am.
I need an actual roll for this one, baby. You go ahead and sum up your applicable points, and I'm going to tell you what your dangers are going to be here on this one.
Well, let's see here. Well, let's get the one for the sleuth. I'm not injured or scared.
Mm-mm.
I don't have a relevant background. I don't have a relevant skill. I'm going to take this as a golden opportunity. Since Ria's keeping the old lady busy, I don't have that. I'm not helping a housemate. And I'm not protecting. So I got 3 I'm rolling here.
Okay, you have 3 that you need to meet. You're going to be putting a die on goal, clues, and the trouble die.
Okay. So, I'm going to say the 6 is going for the goal.
You achieve your goal. Okay, clues and trouble dice.
I'm going to go for the injure or trouble is going to be a 3, and the scared is a 2.
Sorry. You don't have to worry about injured or scared. It's going to be clues and trouble die.
Okay. Then the next one is a 3 is my next highest.
Okay, so do you want to put that on your clues section or your trouble die?
I'll put the 3 on the clues section.
Perfect. And then what was your last roll?
That was a number 2.
Okay, so you rolled just to clarify, you rolled a 6, 3, and a 2?
Correct.
Okay, so 6, 3, and a 2. Table. This looks like Biza is going to achieve his goal. Ooh, he does not discover any additional clues. One of your troubles, or a household troubles, hinders your investigation or escalates problems, or an ally or comfort is placed at risk. Ooh.
Hi.
It's just such a beautiful situation because the party is split right now, and you've got poor Rhea in a room with the
Whatever
old
that
ladies.
is.
And you've got poor Daniel picking up the shards of his soul in his lungs, along with looking at pictures of Raz. Oh. I have a question for you. Rina,
Okay.
do you want to tee up the trouble? Or do you want me to take it? I'm willing to outsource it if you want it. If you want to hurt yourself or if you want to hurt Chad, you have options. Or Annie. Annie is an ally in this situation. You can hurt any of them.
Does it have to be directly related to what Biza is doing?
Absolutely not. It can just be something happening elsewhere.
I think if you could take the first one,
I like it.
so I can see how it works, and then I
Yeah.
can maybe take the next one.
And we'll go for it together. I love it because I've never run this before. Have you run this before?
No.
We are learning it together. Let's go. Biza,
Mm-hmm.
you put the screwdriver in and you know the exact angle to just get it in to engage with the locking mechanism. And you can hear from that open door, just a few feet behind you, tea is being prepared and some nice little old lady is having a pleasant conversation with Rhea. And you put the screwdriver in and you can feel the locking mechanism getting ready to give. There's a moment where you're just like, oh, you know what? I've done this before and I've stripped the lock where I got locked down. I actually had to have my brother manually pull this entire bolt or the entire mechanism off. And then you just flip your wrist just so, and you can hear the door disengage. Your goal was to open this door to pick the lock. You successfully achieved that goal.